Hey, ballerina. Oh, did I really? No. It's. Fuck. Just. Fuck. Just. Am I here? Hey, Sarah. Hey, Krina. Roy. Can you guys hear me? Hey, Beltbat. Hey, Liam. Hey, Darlene. Is that Bobby? Hey, Bobby. Steve B. Scully. Yes, says Ballerina. Thank you. What's up, Mike now? Hey, F and hell. Yeah, that roast beef was delicious. Hey, Mad Mike. Hey, Jay. Memphis, Tennessee. One of the most disappointing, in my opinion, probably the singularly most disappointing tourist trap in America is Elvis Presley's house. Elvis Presley's house is about the least impressive house I have ever been in. There is no, it's like a country doctor's house. It is not a mansion. There is nothing special about it, except in the jungle room, there are a bunch of colors that do not occur in nature. Elvis Presley's house, visiting Graceland, is a waste of time for anybody who is thinking of traveling America and seeing American things, unless you love Elvis. Unless you really love Elvis, skip fucking Graceland. Welcome to all the peeps. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Whoever you are, wherever you are, whenever it is for you. For me, I'm Peter Alexievich, and it is midnight here in Ukraine, as it always is when we do these. It's they don't even. This is the thing that pissed me off the most. I'm at Graceland. So of course I want a fried peanut butter and banana sandwich, right? What Elvis used to get called down to the kitchen for at 4:00 in the morning, a fried peanut butter and banana sandwich. So I want one too. So I go to the little gift shop restaurant that's attached to the house, and I say, may I have a fried peanut butter and banana sandwich? And do you know what they said to me? They said, we're out. You're out. You can't send somebody down the Piggly Wiggly and grab some peanut butter, bananas, and bread? Are you fucking kidding me? So yeah, no. And maybe that clouded my judgment about the whole experience. But I'll tell you, in my mind, Graceland is the most disappointing tourist trap in America. I mean, it's nice, Bobby, but I know people with bigger houses than that. Come on. It's no Graceland mansion, that's for sure. It's a country doctor's house. That's what it is. Hey, Van. Shockingly poor management is an understatement. Now see, Miss 3E loved Graceland. What did you love about it, Miss? You're a big Elvis fan, is what it is. Just to be in the halls that Elvis walked is interesting. You're not wrong. Hey, Maddie, right? Well, now that was weird. What was that noise? I heard a noise. Your husband is the fan, not me. Oh, see, so you derive joy seeing him so excited, probably. It was a vicarious thrill. Yeah, no, I couldn't. There's nothing that would bring me back there. Yeah, right on. That's all. That's awesome. That's awesome. You guys must be a nice couple. I'll be willing to visit Putin's grave, especially with a full bladder. Hell yeah. Vanetta's chiming in on your side. Vanetta's back tonight, everybody. Welcome, Vanetta, back. Nice to see you, V. Hope you enjoyed your night off. Hey, Parda. Hey, for anybody new that is requesting to go live, guys, I'm sorry. I am in Kyiv, and our bandwidth here it doesn't allow it. Every time I try to bring somebody live, it crashes the whole live, and I just can't do it. Hey, Jose. Can Ukraine hold out if they go another 2 months without U.S. aid? Elbow, that is the question. Dutch, I'm doing okay, pal. How are you? You know, on Finnish TV, they are talking about the risk of the frontline collapse. That under the weight of the Russian advances. Now, to date, the Russian advances have been small, right? We're talking since October, since the real pushing began. We're talking about including Avdiivka, the big win. The Russians have regained 500 square kilometers. I mean, it's nothing. You're talking about most of the advances being measured in meters, not measured in kilometers. So they're pushing, they're making these incremental gains. And they are sacrificing tens of thousands of lives for it, right? Mike Johnson went to Florida to visit Mar-a-Lardo, did he? I did not know that. I did not know that, Bobby. I hate to imagine what's going to come out of that. So the question of the front lines is really very much up in the air right now. And if there are collapses of the Ukrainian front lines, it will only be for one reason. Because we didn't get the Ukrainians the weapons that they need to defend themselves. That's the only reason. The shell hunger that cost the Ukrainians Avdiivka could mean that we will see the Russians advance. You know, Iran and North Korea don't have any problem getting weapons to their ally, Russia. And yet we can't seem to do the same. And it is undoubtedly because of Moscow Mike and his traitorous crew. Do you think the new Ukrainian conscription law will allow them to meet their recruitment goals? It's a great question, Richard, and I don't know enough about it yet to assess that. I've meant to try to read up on it today and try to get some information about the law. The only thing that I really know about it at this time is that it lowers the conscription age from 27 to 25. Which for us in the United States, I mean, our conscription age is 18. So a 25-year-old conscription age is very high to us. But it speaks well of a nation that's trying to preserve a generation of youth that could easily be consumed by this war. Effenhell says that he heard they are going to call for an end to Trump's prosecution for arms for Ukraine? What? Well, that's not a thing we're going to allow, right? Like, you can't hold the world hostage for one man to get away with his crimes. That's ridiculous. What do we think about Putin's strategy of bringing the Ukrainian energy sector down? Will it be effective? Bobby, that's a great question. Now, we can ask ourselves, because Putin's been targeting the energy sector for a long time, right? Why has he suddenly become so successful? They've got a much more complex attack strategy. They overwhelm air defense with dozens of drones and other missiles. Then the MiGs come in over the Caspian Sea with those hypersonic Kinzhals. And it's the Kinzhals that are doing the damage, that destroyed the thermal power plant here in Kyiv 2 nights ago. So that means that these assaults are costing Russia their stockpiles of drones, cruise missiles, and hypersonic missiles. They are effectively running through their stockpiles of missiles in order to achieve these gains. That may have long-term consequences for them. The short-term consequences for Ukraine are rolling blackouts, power outages, hits against the GDP because businesses can't function. Normal life is on hold, right, Bobby? But you got the Lithuanians deconstructing their thermal power plants. They've got a bunch of thermal power plants that have been decommissioned. And they're deconstructing those power plants and shipping the critical equipment to Ukraine even as we speak. And so it occurs to me, and not only that, the Ukrainians have 2 years worth of experience repairing this shit and getting things back up and running. So it occurs to me that we are likely to see the Ukrainian infrastructure kind of MacGyvered back together again in short order, while Russia is not going to be able to manufacture those missiles and drones at that rate. So I don't know, Bobby, but I'm hopeful that what Russia is doing is continuing to accelerate its demilitarization of itself. And even though it's making life hard for the Ukrainians right now, hard for all of us in the country, of course, I believe that the Ukrainians have the resiliency and the connections to repair it and to keep it from becoming a problem. I hope so anyway, because it's going to be a problem if they don't. Thanks for the tiny diny. Hey, Sharon. Did you get woken up last night? I did, Belt Blast, I did. Last night was a loud night. Should Ukraine bring Russian energy sector down, or is that a crime? Hits against civilian infrastructure are considered to be a war crime. So, Putin was just on the TV with Uncle Luca bragging about his strategy to take out the energy infrastructure. Putin was just on the TV with Uncle Luca bragging about his strategy to take out the energy infrastructure. Confessing to war crimes. That was weird. Can you guys see me? Are we all still here? Right, Dark Irish? People are batting their eyes, but we're not stepping up to stop it the way we should be. Yeah, I don't know what happened. The application just shut down. The application just shut right down. I haven't had that happen before. Okay. So, attacking civilian infrastructure is a war crime. And so the Ukrainians have long avoided doing it. These hits against refineries, it's kind of a gray area. But when we think about history, think about World War II. What was one of the primary targets for the Allies? It was German oil depots. It was fuel depots, right? You can't run a war without gasoline. It's just that simple. And so this nonsense that's coming out of the White House, and I'm very sorry to say, out of Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin's mouth, that they should avoid hitting Russian refineries is a load of bullshit of the worst order. Because to say that it's going to affect oil prices is ridiculous. The Russians have already put in place an export ban on refined oil products. They are not exporting gasoline to the world. The world has already factored in the loss of that production into the price of gasoline. And so it's nonsense that it's going to affect oil prices. Hitting refinery, now if they hit transport pipelines, that's a different story. But that's not what they're hitting. They're hitting the refineries. They're denying Russia its fuel. And so now Russia is going begging to Belarus. No, they're not exporting refined oil products. They're not exporting gasoline, kerosene, naphtha, etc. There's an export ban in place in Russia. So now they're going begging to Belarus and Kazakhstan for gasoline because they're worried about a shortage. Well, hey, Herb, I've been in TikTok jail for 3 weeks, pal. I haven't been live for 3 weeks. They are not exporting gasoline to China and North Korea as far as we know. They are exporting oil to those countries. They're exporting crude oil to those countries. And those countries then have to refine that crude oil themselves, which the Chinese are happy to do. Because, a barrel of gasoline costs $100. A barrel of crude oil costs $70. And they can refine that barrel of crude oil into the barrel of gasoline. And because you get more out of a barrel of crude oil than you start with when you separate the heavy components from the light ones, you get a barrel of gasoline, you get a barrel of tar, you get a barrel of asphalt, you get a barrel of this, you get a barrel of that, etc. Ukraine can disable Russian merchant ships with their naval drones and stop their trade via the Black Sea. You're not wrong. You're not wrong, Bobby. We just haven't seen that at all. And it goes to the question of freedom of navigation, of international waters. It's not like those ships are flying Russian flags. They're flying Liberian flags. They're flying Macau flags. They're flying Philippine flags. Are the F-16s on the way or not? I don't know, Karina. I sure hope they are. Sharon, the British lasers are a really interesting idea. The British have developed a focused energy weapon, basically a laser beam. That can pinpoint the British pound sterling, right? The pound coin. It can drill a hole in a pound coin a kilometer away. This focused beam of high energy light hits the metal and transforms into 3,000 degree plasma, slicing the metal right up. It's quite impressive. But it hasn't been tested in the field. Everybody has these laser weapons. The problem with them is that they tend to have very short range. And the problem is ramping them up. You have to be up in the megawatt range for them to have any real damage, is my understanding of that. But right, it costs like nothing per shot. You're watching it now. Exactly, dude. You're watching it now on Star Wars. That's exactly what they're doing. So here's the thing. It hasn't been tested, obviously, in battle. It hasn't been tested under real field conditions. And right now, the Ukrainians have a fucking problem. The problem that the Ukrainians have are these fucking glide bombs. These glide bombs that have no heat signature, that are small, that barely give a radar return, that are fitted with wings and GPS, and can be dropped from a plane on as far now as 90 miles away from the target, but because they use GPS, can still hit the target, delivering as much as 1,500 kilograms or 3,000 pounds, a ton and a half of explosives at a time. That's a real problem. That's a real problem. There's no way to shoot these things down. The laser thing could do it. The laser thing could do it. Good night, Paula. Fabs are the problem. Fabs are the problem. Ish. I'm going to be good tonight. I'm not going to get banned. Lasers could very well be the solution to the glide bomb problem. Now, if that happens, I mean, wow. It's just unreal how the innovation in this war is changing the face of modern warfare. Between the innovations that we see from the Ukrainians, the innovations that we see from the Russians. I did a piece today on the Lancet drones, which we should not underestimate the Russians and their ability to innovate even under sanctions. I'm not sure the F-16s. Oh, I see. Yes, you're right, F and hell. Yes, F-16s would help take down the planes that are shooting the glide bombs. Yes, that's the other solution, is you hit the planes. But the Ukrainians need the F-16s and the trained pilots to do that. I don't know what a cram system is, PT. I wondered if they couldn't get a bunch of drones in the air and try to use the drones to intercept them, as they literally FPV saw them coming in. If they couldn't fly the drones into them. There's no way to jam them because they don't have any real guidance systems. They're just gliding. That's why they call them glide bombs. They have these little wings that pop out. The jets drop them at the right point, and boom, they just glide to the target. So there's no jamming. There's no inertial navigation system to fuck with. None of that. The F-16s can fire at targets in Russia. Yes, Bobby. Well, I shouldn't say it that way. Jens Stoltenberg from NATO has said very plainly that the F-16s firing on targets in Russian airspace is to be expected. And it is at the discretion of the Ukrainians to do so. However, I don't know that there aren't countries that may be putting restrictions on the use of them. That might be a thing. But we got to get over this. The aid package for Ukraine was the top of the list to do for Congress. How long will it take them? It should be done by now, Karina. It should have been done months ago. But the Speaker of the House of Representatives is a very powerful person in the United States government. He is third in line for the presidency. And he has the right to set the legislative agenda. And so he has tabled the bill that the Senate passed and just isn't bringing it to the floor for a vote. If he just brought it to the floor, it would pass. But he's holding it up. I read the U.S. wouldn't allow it. Wouldn't allow what? Yeah, Herb, that's a good point. Brussels voted in a vote of 515 to 62 that before they passed the budget for the European Council must come up with 7 Patriot systems for Ukraine, which is great. Hope the world will come to common sense and support Ukraine, you and me both. Our government gave Ukraine permission to use the weapons we gave to attack Russian territory. Emil, is that Finland? Are you Finnish? It's ridiculous. You vote a president in and he's got no power. It's unreal and a joke. No, the president has a lot of power, and he's used his power. He's used the EDA, he's used the PDA to get some shit, what he could get to Ukraine during this period that Congress is stifling everything. But Congress holds the purse strings of the U.S. government. That's built into the system. It's their job to write the checks. Who were the 62 assholes? I don't have a list. It's an abuse of power, though. What about the discharge petition? What's happening with that? Nicola, I agree it is an abuse of power, in my opinion as well. It's an abuse of power, I agree. There is a discharge petition, but it's still like 28 signatures shy of getting around this son of a bitch, which is why if you are an American and you have not yet called your representative to tell them to sign the discharge petition, please do. It makes a difference. Thanks, Finland. There are roughly 20 Dems that still need to sign it. Well, that's part of the problem, U.S. Steel, right, is the foreign aid bill. It looks like there's 26 Democrats that won't vote for it because of the aid for Israel and the Israeli genocide in Gaza. It's a real problem. Hey, Sasha. Hey, Dive Hard. You need a longer charger, Krina. What's my take on Iran, Israel? I think that the whole thing has been engineered to distract from Ukraine by Vladimir Putin. That's absolutely my opinion. Israel's gotta play by the rules, the same rules that everybody else plays by. It is no good if they turn into the thing that they hate. Which, of course, the Ukrainians are showing exemplary restraint here and playing by the rules. Yeah, yes, Trump, go to jail. I'm with you, Dutch. I'm with you. Seems unlikely, Herb, that you did. I mean, you might have seen some old video of them being delivered, but they've been here a long time. We only sent 31. Hey, Betty Thompson. It's going to be a stormy week for MAGA next week. Nice pun. Goats Are Us Farm. I used to have a goat farm. was called the Dancing Goat Farm. Now, let's see. What else was I going to say here on this subject? I'm sorry, guys. I'm exhausted. That trip to Warsaw really took it out of me. And then this week has been super busy. I was going to thank Jason Willis Starrin for sponsoring tonight's live. I didn't see Jay in here tonight. I don't know if he's here or not. But if you see Jason Willis Starrin, hey, if you see Jason Willis Starrin around, give him a thank you. He is the sponsor of tonight's live. Hello, Croatia. How you doing, man? And I'm way behind on those because we had 3 weeks with no lives. So tomorrow night, everybody that contributed to the Visa Fund at less than the $30 level, you will all be sponsors of tomorrow night's live, and we'll knock out a bunch of thank yous tomorrow. Is it true Russia keeps attacking you guys' plants? You mean the energy plants, Jose? And yes, it is true. 80% of the thermal power plants in Ukraine are now destroyed or damaged to the point where they are offline. Hello, Ireland. Hey, Tisno. We got more than one person from Croatian here. That's amazing. Pugga Mahone is speaking Irish even though he lives in Germany. How do you electricity? I have no idea. We have electricity in my neighborhood. We didn't even have a blackout as far as I know, Maureen. Now, it is possible that the power was out overnight at some point for a little bit, and then they switched to another source. I don't know the answer to that. But as far as I know, we had no power interruptions here at all. I have no news on the Azov Brigade, Larry. How many people here from Germany? Are you in Germany, Sasha? Okay. Pugga Mahone is from Germany. I know that. Odessa's having rolling blackouts and regular blackouts, yeah. Anyone else from Nordic countries? I didn't see Lars here, our Norwegian regular. There's Dive Hard. He's Nordic. How does the war end, in your opinion? You know, prognostication is a fool's game. Nobody knows what the future looks like. However, we know what history looks like. We know what happens to would-be empire builders who build an economy based on the production of war materiel and the unaliving of their neighbors. You base your economy on genocide and the production of war materiel. We know what happens. Millions of your people are starving by the end because you've killed all the farmers or conscripted them, or your enemy has eliminated all the means of your food production, say by taking out your refineries or destroying your fuel depots, and you don't have the gas to run the harvesters to bring in the food to feed the people in the fall, and you get mass starvation. I'm deeply concerned that that is the future of Russia, the near-term future, because nobody's going to run to save them. Just like with Stalin, just like with the Japanese emperor, just like with Germany. I haven't heard much on the Polish blockade. It's down to just 2 border crossings now. And when I came through there was really nobody there. A few protesters, a few campfires, 26 kilometers of trucks waiting to get in. Yeah, Sasha, I think that that's very likely. I am of the opinion that Russia, as we know it, will not survive this. I don't see how they can. And increasingly, you see these independence movements gaining traction inside of the Russian Federation. Certainly in Bashkortostan, Tuva, Sakha, Yakutsk, Irkutsk, Karelia, the so-called League of Free Nations. These are all repressed ethnic minorities inside of Russia who want to get free of the yoke of Moscow. Oh, see, Dutch is saying when he came through, there was 24 kilometers of trucks waiting. So about the same as what I experienced, Dutch. Things had not changed much in the intervening weeks. Is there such a thing as mobile power plants for emergencies? There are such things. I don't know how they work. I don't know what you got to do. Because if your substations are destroyed, there's no place to plug them into, Bobby. Right? So it all depends on whether or not the infrastructure remains where you have a point to plug them in. No new news on the Russian Freedom Legion. It appears that there is complete operational security in that area. Nobody is saying a word about what's going on over there. But the fact that they haven't said anything about what's going on over there indicates that the Russian Freedom Legions are still there. Impossibly, incredibly, dug in and hanging on inside of Russia to Russian territory. It doesn't make any sense. I don't know how they're still there. I really don't. Do they have 18-wheelers that they can use for generators? I mean, that's such a thing. I just don't know that they have them here or not. Hey, boss. I don't know about that. I haven't heard any talk about it. The whole front line is heavily mined on both sides now. First, the Russians did it when they built the Sorovikin lines last spring around this time to thwart the Ukrainian counteroffensive, which they did very effectively. Let's be honest. And now the Ukrainians have turned around and done the same thing, built a bunch of Sorovikin lines and mined the area. And we're watching Russian tanks blow up every day trying to get across those fields. Why can't you do 10,000 drones at one time? Well, you need 10,000 drone operators to do that. And they have to be coordinated. How do you coordinate 10,000 drone operators? I don't know the answer to that. Hello, Sweden. Kim Sand, they were taking a poll of how many Nordic folks were here. There's another vote for Sweden. How many tanks do they have left now? That's a great question, Sharon. If I'm not mistaken, the Russians started the war with 20,000 tanks. Now, that's everything. 5,000 of those are thought not to be working, right? They need to be refurbished to work, if they even can be. So 15,000 working tanks. Russia has lost over 10,000 tanks in Ukraine, which means they are down to about 5,000 tanks. Russia can produce or refurbish existing tanks at a rate of about 130 a month. About 110 a month refurbished plus 20 new construction. So that's about 130 tanks a month, about 1,500 a year or so. They are not keeping up with their losses. Thank you, Maureen, for your concern. I assure you I am doing just fine here. Though Sasha's right, I am quite exhausted. The going to Warsaw, the 13 hours one way on the bus, it really takes it out of me anymore. And then I very foolishly scheduled a lot of shit this week and started doing the lives again, and it's got me run down. There's no two ways about it. I think tomorrow, don't expect any videos from me. I think I'm going to just take the day off and do the live tomorrow night. Take it easy. Yeah, that's great. The Ukrainian steel in the tank. And Norway is here. Ben. Kim San, I would feel real good about being a Swede these days. Sweden, Norway, Denmark, you guys have really come through, boy. As a percentage of GDP, you guys are leading the pack. I'm embarrassed as an American that we are so tied up with these idiot maggots. It's insanity. Welcome, Romania. Romania is right next door. I have never been to Romania. And so I really do want to get there and check it out. It's also Krina's home, of course. Yeah, I very much want to. I do. It would be a shame to be here in Europe and not see some of the rest of it, huh? Parda, where are you? Aren't you in the United States? Scotland. I do want to go to Scotland someday. Bucharest. I'd like to see Bucharest. Oh, wait, are you in Bucharest? Why did I think you were an American? Oh, Parda, if you're in Bucharest, I'm coming to Bucharest, man. Transylvania. I knew you were a vampire. Stockholm is beautiful. I bet it is. Yeah, I don't know. I'm an idiot, Parda. Sorry. Bucharest is fun and big, says CyberDoc. Come to Croatia, Dubrovnik. I'd like to see Croatia, Tisno. I might take you up on that, pal. This war is not going to last forever. Oh, you're South African. Van, I always thought you were French or some French American or something. Damn right, Red. I'm with you. You in Oklahoma? I was in Tulsa not long before I came over here. I had the RV parked in the Walmart lot. Because, in Walmart, you can usually park overnight. They threw me out. I couldn't believe it. Apparently, Walmart changed its policy. Yeah, that's a real problem, Gladius. Those Russian drones. Jillian says Dubrovnik is beautiful, too. Well, John, I don't have an apartment in Odessa. I only have an apartment in Kyiv. If you want to trade apartments in Scotland and Kyiv, particularly in August, let me know. This city is hot in August. I have good air conditioning, but getting around town is oof. Nothing beats Lviv. Lviv is a nice little town. I like Lviv. I am a big Game of Thrones fan. I not only watched the TV series, but I read all the books. Thanks, Denny. Good night, Dutch. August is festival time. Is that the Hay Festival? I want to go to the Hay Festival. Is that what it's called? Effing hell, I'm with you. I do not intend to leave this country until the Russians are gone and I have picnicked on a beach in Crimea. Game of Thrones was filmed in Dubrovnik. Really? I did not know that. Chicago, Chicago, it's my kind of town. Yeah, Mel, I look forward to seeing it. I really do. Let me see here. Guys, it's 10 to the top of the hour. The Fringe Festival, sure. Of course, Sharon. Everybody is welcome at my parties. It's 10 minutes to the top of the hour. Buonasera. And so who's got last minute questions, final thoughts on today? Oh, pardon me. Buonasera, Roberto. Come stai? The schedule for comedy this weekend. The improv group Laughter is the Best Medicine Kyiv has our second public performance on Sunday. In the United States, that's Sunday morning, 9:30 on the West Coast, 12:30 p.m. on the East Coast. And we'll be live streaming here at 7:30 Eastern European time, which is 5:30 London time. Thanks, Vanetta. Big thanks to the best moderator team on the Tickety Talk, Cheyenne, Vanetta, Jay, PT, John Williams, and Travis. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I appreciate everything you do. Lars is not here, but he runs the Discord server. And big thanks to Nightshade, who runs Peter's Peeps on the Book of Faces. If you have not joined us there, please join us on the Book of Faces, Peter's Peeps. And also, big thank you to Jason Willis Starren, who is the sponsor of tonight's live. Tomorrow, I have a birthday party to go to. I'm going to a birthday party. And I'm not going to make any videos. I'm not going to post anything. But we will do our live tomorrow at 5 like usual. It'll be an open Q&A. We can talk about anything. Ukrainian mango season. If you're not familiar with the Ukrainian mangoes, the Ukrainian mango season runs from the 32nd of October to the 35th of February. Thanks, Sasha. Thanks, Bashy. Thank you, guys. Ukrainian mangoes. Fluffy Dragon Pants. There's somebody here called Fluffy Dragon Pants. Were you a big fan of HR Puffin stuff? Yarp? I guess not. No mango for you. HR Puffin Stuff was an American television program that featured a dragon puppet kind of character who basically was a person in a big pair of fluffy pants. And so it reminded me of HR Puffin Stuff. Good night, PT. Thank you, as always, brother. That is Jason's wife. Who is Jason's wife? Fluffy Dragon Pants. Are you Jason Willis Starron's wife? Holy cow, your husband's a great guy. And then completely insane too, by the way, of course. Jason is actually the sponsor of tonight's live. I don't know, should I not tell you that? Did he tell you that he spent money on me? He really is. He really is. Thank you, 3 Bays. You know what to do. Like, subscribe, and share, please. Thank you, Sasha. Love a tiny tiny. So everybody thank Jason Willis Starron's wife, Fluffy Dragon Pants, for supporting Roman's fundraiser. Nice. For sponsoring tonight's live. Thank you, Mrs. Willis Starron. We appreciate you guys. For anybody who wants to help me stay in Ukraine, I'm working on putting the money together for my temporary residence application, which is $600, with all the fees and health insurance policy and lawyer fees, etc. It's $600 US. So if anybody wants to help with that, it's appreciated. The Patreon link is in the bio. I sure appreciate it. Yeah, no, and hyphenated. It's a very strong choice to make. Not intimidated in any way by that. It's a good choice. It speaks very well of both of you. Nightshade, you and me both. We're both looking forward to those bastions being taken out. Kim Sam, you can join the Patreon for free. And then that way, if I get booted off of TikTok, you can still get the updates. And then if you can, if you have $5 a month to kick me, you can join the Patreon for $5 a month. And that's very much appreciated. If you're talking about helping Ukraine, then I would look for a Ukrainian church in your area, and I would help out at the fundraisers. Maybe they need somebody to run the big 6-wheel or drive aid packages to the post office to be posted. There's a million things to do, pal, and we should all be trying to do something. I am, Raji. I am very, very tired. Sasha, of course there are no mangoes growing in Ukraine. Ukraine, right, has winters. It's a temperate climate. There are no mangoes growing here. But some scammer who's pretending to be a Ukrainian soldier to steal money from people, in a love letter to effing hell, said that he was penning this missive beneath a mango tree, which was hysterical. I appreciate it, Paula. Thank you. Oh, God. Tatiana from my Laughter is the Best Medicine group is sick. I hope she didn't give me something. I just got better. Okay. It is just about the top of the hour. No, I can't technically work in this country. So that's not going to be a thing. I could probably get an online job in the United States, right? A remote job in the US, but that takes up 8 hours a day. I spend 8 hours a day making these reports and getting ready for the live every night. And frankly, it's all I want to do. So, I mean, I've taken on the mantle of this poverty of my own free will. So nobody should feel bad for me. It's a choice. Yeah, you're not wrong, Sasha. You're not wrong. I should really probably do that. Thanks, Trash Hunter. Are the beaches cleaner when you've been around? That's what that profile pic reminds me of. All right, kids. Nice. You're in Spain. Thank you, Krina. Pedro Raccoon. Thank you, Paula. You too. Oberezhna, John Williams. Oberezhna. All right, kids. Make it a great day. I really appreciate everybody out there being there for me. And so I'm going to stay here for you.